Hello everyone, I am Neil and today we will be starting our first episode of stock prediction bot tutorial playlist. In this episode we'll be start by learning about why Yahoo Finance and how to use Yahoo Finance and how to get stock data. This is very important for our trading bot since we will need a lot of data and we will need to be able to get the data efficiently, correct, and incredibly easily using Yahoo Finance library. First, we'll be start by installing the Yahoo Finance library, and here I am using Jupyter Notebook. As you can see, I use this command to try and install, and it already says recon already satisfied, so it means that we already have everything we need installed. And we will be starting by importing our Yahoo Finance library, and I will just import it as a YF. I will be also importing our pandas library since we will be using that as well. And then finally we will be importing our matplotlib to be able to plot our data and see how it works and if it works how it is in general. First, we will be starting by entering our ticker information. For this, we'll be using Yahoo Finance's ticker object, and then we will get, let's say, Apple data, and we will be storing it into a data frame, a pandas data frame, and then from ticker we will be calling the history function, and then in the history function we will give the timeline as period data. For this I will be entering 2 years for now, and I will show you different ways to get data, and I will plot it and show you guys how it works real quick. But before that, I will start by printing and showing you how it works. Here we go, we get the data from 2023 until 2025, the last 2 years data, and we have the open price, high, low, close, volume, and dividends and stock splits. I will be showing how to use this data to make a bot predicting the prices in the next episodes, but for this episode we will be sticking how to use Yahoo Finance. Here, as you can see, using the matplotlib library, I am plotting our Apple stock prices using the close prices against the date, and as you can see, we have the last 2 years' date and the prices of Apple, and we can see how it changes. For our second part, I'll be showing how to get our stock prices using the specific dates we like. This is an important case for us since we might want to test our programs for different timelines, like for example COVID time when the stock market went down, and we want to test our model for specific stressful times like this. This is a great way to test it, and we can have a COVID data. And for here we can get the ticker again the same way, since we already created the ticker variable up there. I'm not recreating it. For start, we will be entering the start date, and for end we will be entering the end date. And using this, we should be able to get the data. I will plot it in a second again, just to show you guys how it works. As you can see, from the start of 2020 until the end of 2020 May, we get our data, again, the same features, and I will show you how to use it again. As you can see, guys, I am plotting our data using the same functions and the stuff we used earlier. And for our next part of our tutorial, I believe this is one of the most important parts. We will be getting data about different tickers. For example, we will be getting Apple and Microsoft and Google. This is important because instead of when we want to get a lot of data about a lot of different stocks, instead of using something like a for loop to loop through the whole list and get all of the data one by one, we can get all of them at the same time, and this is a lot more useful since we might be hitting the rate limits, but with this it will be a lot harder to hit the rate limits and we will have an easier time. And here I want to show something else as well. I want to show how to use date time. This is also important for when we want to get the specific date, let's say today's date, easily we can just use this function, and using this function we can get the today's date and we don't have to enter it every time. This is especially important when we're trying to predict the prices, and we don't have to manually enter it every time. We can just use this command and do it easily. And here we will give our tickers, and for start, again, the start date, and for end we will give the end date again, the same way we did last time. However, for this one we are using Yahoo Finance.download to get our data at once, and I will show something else here. We will only get the close data, and I will be normalizing our data to see our returns for each stock each year. And for this one I will be using the multi-data we have, and I will be dividing it by the start prices, and using this we will have for each start price it will be equal to 1, and then once we multiply it by 100 we will have like a return percentage starting from 100. And to plot this I will just use this real quick. However, this part I will be using a for loop. Again, here I am using the pandas libraries functions, and here we will be getting normalized data, and then the column, and then here we will be getting the column, and the label will be equal to the column we have here. And once we run this, we should be able to see our prices, how they changed over the time, starting from 0. Of course, they went under 0 if they lost money after the start. And as you can see, they went up to 240%, which means that they doubled. And if you invested, you would have more than doubled your earnings in Google. However, for Apple and Microsoft, it's less. And this is one of the other functions we can use. We can get multiple tickers data at once, and we can plot it like this for a normalized return to be able to see more accurately. And like I said, we can use the date time to be able to get our current date and use it easier for our bot in the future. And here, as you can see, using this code that you can see on the screen, you can stop the video and write it on your own Jupyter notebook. You can plot the price against the volume with the date to see the volume peaks. This will be extra useful for you to see the patterns and to understand how the stock prices work, why it's going down, why it's happening, and how the market is reacting against this. And finally, I'll be showing you guys how to save this data we already got. This is also important because we don't want to get the same data and download it every time. This is especially useful when we need to store it once, and we can do our tests even without Wi-Fi. This will be useful, and we can do our tests really easily, and we don't need to install it again. And if your code is hitting the rate limit because of the number of stocks you're downloading, you can save all of them and add into each other, and then you will be able to do it like this. This is a very easy way of doing it, since we already have a function called toCSV, and once we do this, once we run it, as you can see here, we have our data stored in a CSV format, and this is really easy to use, and we can get this data really easily using our pandas read CSV function. And then we can get the file name again. We can say that we have the index column at 0 and the parse dates will be true since we have our dates in here. And then I'll be printing here, and then I'll be using head function, and oh, oops. Here, as you can see, we saved our data into the CSV file, and we got it back from our CSV file, and we were able to print it. Like I said, this will be useful for us in the future when we want to save our data or our other kinds of data we get, important data, the data we engineered, and so that we will not need to engineer it again. This will be really useful when we have a really big data or a lot of features we have engineered. Thank you guys for listening, and if you wish to help me with my goal of making a bot that will be able to predict the stock prices relatively accurately, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and check my playlists and videos. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the video.